Okay, in this video we're going to do two things. We're going to first of all look at what happens to find one of the shorter sides of Pythag, and then whether a triangle is right angle. So remember, Pythagoras' theorem is that a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and they often put a little triangle in there so that you remember what the letters are. A and B in this case are the two shorter sides, C is the longer side. Part of our toolkit, things we need to remember. And we can put them in a green box, a growth green box. Always good to have a growth green box. So that's our important thing we're going to look at. So let's just look at a question and we can see what the length is going to be. So in this case, we're going to say, well, let's say that's 15, and let's say, so if that's 15, let's just say, let's call that 9, and then let's call that x. And we're going to try and work out what the value of x is. And to do that, well, it's a right angle. That points at the longest side. So what I would do is I would label that C. And it doesn't matter A or B, but here that looks like that's A, that looks like that's B. And the way I would do this, I could write the formula out, but what I like to do at this point is say, okay, I'm now going to square the 15, because it's all about squaring. So 15 times 15, 225, put it in a square. Square the 9, 9 nines are 81, put it in a square. Now here, I'm looking for a shorter side. So in the previous video, we'd add these two to make that. But I now got to find one of the shorter ones. So I've got to say, what do I add to 81 to make 225? In other words, 225 take away 81 equals what? Now, if you want to use a calculator, then use it. Okay. So I say 225 minus 81 equals 144. So there we go. So this area, this square is 144. Now to find the b, at the moment b squared equals 144, and remember you square root that, so square root answer, and it tells me that b equals 12. So that's how you find one of the shorter sides. Now what about if I've got a triangle and I've given you the dimensions, but I don't know if it is a right angle or not? It may look like a right angle, but is it a right angle? So let's give some dimensions to this one and we can see if this is going to be right. So we can say 6, call that 9, and call that 12. And that clearly is the longer side. So I'm going to assume that there is, and if it's true, then that squared plus that squared will equal that squared, if it's true. So let's square them. Well, 6 times 6 is 36, put it in a square. 9 nines are 81, put it into a square. And 12 12s are 144, put it into a square. Now, if it is a right angle, then adding these two will equal that. Now, I clearly see it doesn't work because look at just the units. I've got 6 and the 1 makes 7, and there's a 4 there. So I can clearly see it doesn't work. But just to, allay my worries and my fears, 36 add 81 equals 117. So if this was a square, that would be 117. That's what it should be, but it's much bigger, meaning that line is a lot bigger, meaning this angle is a lot bigger. So this angle is greater than 90 because this length is bigger than the 117. The 117 will be smaller. So therefore, this angle is greater than 90 and it's not a right angle. Hopefully, this has helped you understand more.